Ukrainian FPV drones, fiber optic drones, and kamikaze drones. All continue to target Russian soldiers on the Ukrainian front. Russian soldiers are completely helpless and defenseless against the drones. The intensity of the clashes is increasing. Vehicles destroyed, soldiers targeted, and trenches. Stay tuned for more. The soldier sitting on the ground had most likely stopped to rest. At that very moment, he was hit by the FPV drone. He drew his weapon, but it was too late. Another soldier became a target while standing motionless on the ground. He must have thought that by standing still, he would not be detected by the drone, but that did not save him. This time, when the Russian soldier noticed the FPV drone in front of him, he panicked and dropped to the ground. This soldier also didn't know what to do when he saw the FPV drone. He was out in the open with absolutely nowhere to hide. Ukrainian FPV drones lying in ambush along Russian troop transit routes continued targeting Russian military vehicles, especially in the Donetsk region. It wasn't just vehicles. Many Russian soldiers moving on foot along the front lines also became targets of the drones waiting in ambush. These roads are now completely under the control of Ukrainian drones. Drones operated by Ukrainian forces are patrolling every corner of the front line, striking wherever Russian troops are positioned. How can anyone even fight against a weapon like this? This time, it's not entirely clear what the targeted soldier was doing. Spotted inside a crater, he seemed to be holding something in his lap, almost as if he was trying to conceal it. He didn't even attempt to run before the drone struck him. There, did you notice? The soldier is holding something. Or is he wounded? A fiber optic FPV drone operated by Ukrainian forces is moving through the Pokrovsk sector. Suddenly, it spots a military vehicle out in the open, along with 2 Russian soldiers. The soldiers had stopped to change a tire on the vehicle. That repair left them exposed and turned them into a target for the drone. The next target is an ATV frequently used on the front line. The drone maneuvers quickly to slam into him, but he narrowly escapes the first attack by sheer luck. But he wasn't able to avoid the second drone that was sent right after him. Once again, deep in the wooded areas of the Donetsk region, an infantryman is spotted. He tries everything to escape the drone, but the drone's precise maneuvers allow it to weave through the trees with ease. Another soldier, just a few meters away, tried to bring the drone down by throwing his weapon at it, but even that wasn't enough to stop it. This time, Ukrainian soldiers launched a suppression attack against Russian troops gathered inside a building in the Luhansk region. However, due to the high concentration of Russian forces, their firepower alone was not enough. They failed in their first attempt to attack because they couldn't overcome the defense inside. At that point, they escalated the assault using a 7.5 kilogram TM62 anti-tank mine. The prepared charges were armed and placed at multiple points throughout the building. Here, the soldiers begin placing the mines in every corner of the building. A 7 kilogram mine has a significant blast radius. In confined spaces especially, these mines generate an even more devastating explosive force. Powerful explosions followed, causing severe destruction. In this operation, 6 Russian soldiers lost their lives. The drone attacks don't stop when night falls. These drones are now equipped with thermal imaging systems. Just look at the strikes. Caught in the shock of being attacked in the dark, the soldiers don't even know where to run. Most of the time, they can't even tell where the attack is coming from. These attacks are reshaping the rules of the battlefield. Soldiers who were already highly vulnerable against drones can no longer escape being targeted, even under the cover of darkness. You can support us by liking and commenting on the video. Fiber optic FPV drones, operated by Ukraine's Signum Battalion, successfully identified Russian positions deep inside the forests in the Lyman sector. Direct strikes were carried out on the trenches using high explosive drones. Mortars, ammunition, and a wide range of military equipment were destroyed. In reality, Russian forces are not facing major shortages in weapons or ammunition supply. The real problem is protecting them. One of the main reasons is the lack of sufficient defensive measures in these positions against drone threats. An operation carried out 4 months ago has only now come to light. Ukrainian special forces launched a sudden raid on a Russian shelter in the Pokrovsk direction. Heavy fire was directed at the trench where the Russian soldiers were positioned. After a while, there were no visible signs of resistance from inside, and the Russian troops began to emerge, apparently to surrender. Ukrainian soldiers waited cautiously, unsure whether it might be a trap. Each soldier who came out was ordered to drop his weapon and lie face down on the ground. No fire was opened on those who chose to surrender. Take a close look at the soldiers who surrendered. Their camouflage is in poor condition, and some of them don't even have proper military boots. In this state, it would be nearly impossible for them to effectively defend their position on the front line. Their weapons were collected, and they were thoroughly searched. This operation clearly shows just how difficult the conditions are for Russian soldiers fighting at the front. Ukrainian forces inflicted heavy losses on Russian units in the Donetsk region. Several key military vehicles were left completely exposed and vulnerable. T-62 and T-72 tanks were destroyed under waves of drone attacks, dozens of drones striking their targets. And the strikes didn't stop there. Numerous other military vehicles were quickly neutralized and rendered inoperable. A large ammunition depot was also identified and hit. Russian forces suffered a significant loss of military equipment in this operation. This is also a BMP-1 armored personnel carrier. The Alpha unit of the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, delivered a historic blow to Russia's air defense capabilities through long-range operations carried out throughout 2025. According to recent reports, nearly half of Russia's Pantsir air defense batteries, considered among its most trusted and modern systems, were destroyed by this elite unit. This is not just a military success. It represents the strategic neutralization of technology worth billions of dollars. Each Pantsir unit cost between $15 and $20 million. Russia had positioned these systems as an impenetrable fortress against Ukraine's long-range drones. However, the Alpha unit identified their vulnerabilities and neutralized them one by one. How long can an air defense system manage a war if it can't even protect itself? Do you think Russia can realistically replace these $20 million systems with new production? Or is it gradually losing control of the skies altogether? Ukrainian FPV drones and Russian FPV drones are now battling each other in the sky. This is a contest of experience between drone operators. Across many parts of the front, drones are being deployed specifically to hunt other drones. In reality, this fight is not just between two machines. It's a clash of skill and intelligence between two operators sitting miles away from the battlefield. Notice how Ukrainian operators often exploit the blind spots in the Russian drone's camera angle, typically attacking from above or behind. Meanwhile, Russian drones have begun adapting, adding rear-view cameras and developing evasive maneuvers to better protect themselves. In these final weeks of the winter of 2026, the course of the war is no longer defined simply by troop numbers, but by technological superiority. Ukrainian forces, in particular, have extended their drone strike range to 60 to 70 kilometers, placing Russia's rear supply lines under constant fire. As Russia continues to suffer massive losses for every square meter in the Donbas region, Ukraine's smart defense strategy has nearly brought the Russian army's rate of advance to a standstill. Ukraine's deep strikes and the gaps opening up in Russia's air defense network are set to push the scale of the conflict to a far more strategic level in the coming spring months.